Sometimes in life, there are moments when the background noise of this everyday world
Why, every time I hear that train,
find a way of bringing a painful reality
it just makes me feel lonely.
directly into the forefront.
My life stopped. It ended, you know what I mean? It came to a halt, and this train kept on going like nothing had happened.
Life moves on. And for Caroline Longshore, that train has become a trivial yet agonizing reminder that her husband is gone.
When I hear that train every night, it's just like, doesn't it know what I lost? Doesn't the people know who are on that train? Shouldn't they stop too?
A sad day for BYU football fans.
Former offensive lineman Nick Longshore died yesterday
After an ATV crash hospitalized him last week.
6'5" and pushing 300 pounds, a man like Nick Longshore seems almost indestructible. An offensive lineman at BYU, number 72, had Cougar blood pumping through those veins. Arms that could knock you down, but often used to pick people up. And that smile?
Oh, he was so kind. You know, the kindest person you'd ever meet.
Oh, he had a smile you could probably see from the cheap seats.
Every time he worked really hard, you could tell when he was proud of himself. It was from that smile.
On their wedding day, Nick had that smile, the same smile he wore when Caroline first became pregnant. But the lines filling that happy face would soon fade. On November 13, 2012, their baby boy was stillborn.
You feel extremely guilty when you lose a child, like you couldn't do anything, you know? And I felt like I had taken something from Nick that he was entitled to. His son was gone.
It's not often new parents leave the hospital without a baby in their arms. But for Caroline, the emptiness she felt at that moment,
Losing a son and now my husband, just doesn't seem real.
had suddenly become more hollow.
It's not a coincidence that Nick's accident was on the 1-year anniversary of our son. Everything is for a reason.
A reason that within time would be revealed. Flashback 45 years, it was 1969. And the University of Utah had a pretty good basketball team with one of the school's great all-around players in Kenny Gardner. 6'5", 200 some odd pounds, and doing the job on both ends of the court. Couple of things now you should know about Gardner. First off,
I wanted to beat them hard every time I played them.
he is not a big fan of BYU.
We had no sympathy. They were our bitter rivals.
And number two, he had a heart that just would not quit. Or at least that's what he thought. 4 decades later, and that Utah blood
So I was starting to get weaker.
was barely pumping.
They said, "You're our patient. You're our candidate. You have bad heart failure. You need a new heart." They label each picture.
There were more than 50 people on the transplant list ahead of Gardner. The blood type had to match, and the heart, well, it had to be a big one.
I can't get a 5'1", 105-pound woman's heart. It just won't work because I'm 6'5". It's got to get all the way from there to there. Has to be the same size.
Now, it should be noted, only about 3% of the population has the frame of Kenny Gardner, meaning the wait time alone could be the end. But on November 22nd,
The phone rings. They say, "It's a go."
this man on the doorstep of death was about to get his chance at a new life. The transplant, a success.
So I lay my head down the first night, and it's like, boom, boom, really strong.
Kenny Gardner had a new heart. What he did not know
Yeah, I knew he was a donor.
is who it once belonged to.
I didn't want it to go somebody who wasn't grateful in the first place, somebody who just didn't care, who didn't understand what they had.
It is not uncommon for the family of a donor to never know who the recipient is. But in a strange twist of events,
She said, "I know who has Nick's heart."
Do you mind if I put you on speakerphone?
both sets of families
And I was like, "What are you talking about?"
How do you know I'm the recipient?
managed to figure things out.
I think it's a Mother's Day gift from Nick.
We know you're the recipient. So,
And just like that, the decision was made.
Walked around the beach.
Caroline had not felt the beat of her husband's heart since he had passed. But on that day, there was no doubt those two hearts were reunited.
here, now feel this beat. Oh.
He said, "Feel that beat right there." It was surreal.
Could you feel the beat?
Yeah, pounding.
She looks up at me, and says, "That was just like I was hugging Nick."
Sometimes in life, there are moments when the background noises remind us that life moves on. It has for Ken, it will for Caroline, and it certainly does
Can you wake up for us? I smile.
for this 2-month-old baby girl. Sad reality is she will never know the feeling of being held in the arms of her own father. But because of his gift,
Holding close to me, listening to her father's heart beat in my chest. It's amazing.
she will always have the chance to be close to his heart.
I want Hannah to see what Nick gave somebody. And I want her to know what it means to give somebody something special like that, you know?
If you're looking to buy a car and you search the classifieds, you need to watch this story. For many of us, trust is a big factor. So the KSL investigators went out to find the kind of seller we all need to be aware of. Mike?
All right, Dave, if you have never heard the word curb stoning, there's a very good reason to add it to your vocabulary. Because the people who are blatantly doing it quite often are not selling you what you think. Red, black, old, new, make, model, looking, pricing, clicking, reading, comparing. In case you're new to the game, this
Low miles, older car,
is how many search
quick sell, bring cash.
for a new set of wheels these days.
This was my daughter's 16th birthday present.
John Taylor just bought this 1995 Honda Accord from the classifieds. Looked good, drove great, and the girl who sold it to him
She was absolutely convincing. The ad, and then she herself was convincing.
didn't give him a whole lot of reason for concern. That is until he handed over the cash and drove it to get checked out.
On the way to the dealership, that's when we saw the odometer wasn't working.
Not a surprise then, after Taylor tracked down the prior owner and discovered this little Honda had been on the road for more than 300,000 miles, not the 135,000 he was staring at the odometer. Making things worse, he paid nearly twice the amount the sellers paid.
I knew this wasn't some, minor dishonesty. This was an all-out scam.
It's a huge problem. I've been dealing with it for 26 years.
Sergeant Larry Ball is with the Motor Vehicle Enforcement Division. The problem he's talking about is called curb stoning. Simply put, it's when somebody sells more than 2 cars in a year without a dealer's license. And many times those cars are loaded with problems.
Some buy them at the auctions. You have the salvage auctions that are selling these wrecked vehicles. They'll buy them there, take them to a body shop, do a quick job on them, put them back on the road.
And chasing down these curb stoners is a nonstop job. Just ask the one man
You could sell 2, but you have to be the title owner.
who's got to deal with these guys on a daily basis.
Is a Class B misdemeanor.
The latest catch has a couple of big red flags, selling 3 cars without a single title in his name. Both illegal, and he just got caught.
I'm not dealing drugs. I'm not killing anybody.
I
I'm not
understand.
breaking into homes. That's ridiculous.
His story is that he's basically doing it as a favor for friends.
And it seems that story
It's not for my name, so it's my friend's car.
My nephew put it in the car for sale. He put it in my name.
he put it in your name has become a very popular one. So the KSL investigators searched through the classifieds to track down suspected curb stoners. And here's how it played out. First, we looked for sellers with multiple car listings, sent a text to meet up with them, and finally had a face-to-face to take a look at the vehicle. Problem number 1, the VIN numbers in the ads
Man, this is all over the place. It's not even close.
did not match up with the numbers on the car.
How come that same number isn't on the one that you're selling on KSL.com?
I don't know. My son put it in. I don't know. Maybe confused with the number.
Your son put it in?
Yeah.
He was confused about 5 or 6 times?
I think. I don't know.
Does he get confused a lot with numbers and letters?
I got the number for this number.
If the VIN number's off, you cannot get the Carfax and therefore do not know the history of the vehicle before checking it out. Pretty important information if you were thinking of buying this 96 Corolla from Jose
Is this your car? What's the history on it?
and didn't know the odometer had been rolled back more than 60,000 miles.
Did you intentionally put the wrong VIN number down?
No, I put that one, but
But it's wrong.
I think it's wrong. But nah, when I put it in, I was thinking that's good.
Problem number 2, they're selling cars with the titles in somebody else's name. State law says that is a big no-no.
Do you have the title?
Yeah, I have the title.
You do? Is it in your name?
No, it's the other guy. It's the other guy. It's the name. No, not my name.
Oh, why isn't the title in your name?
No,
Unfortunately, Manuel's not the only one who needs help answering that question. When it comes to legal documentation, vehicle enforcement says curbstoners rarely use their own names. And while some claim to know nothing about the law or their recent sales,
Up here, we got 2, 3, 4 cars. How many cars have you sold this year? Are you confused?
there are still others who are fully aware of what they are doing.
But you know it's illegal.
Yeah, I know it's illegal.
But you're doing it anyway.
Yeah, I know.
Are you going to stop?
I'm not trying anymore.
You're not going to do it anymore?
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Bottom line, not every car sold by a curbstoner is a lemon, but if you are anything like John Taylor,
I actually like the car. I just don't like having been scammed.
you do not want to lose money on somebody else's lies.
And the Motor Vehicle Enforcement Division says that they cite hundreds of people for curbstoning each and every year. So here's a question. How do you protect yourself? Well, you can weed out a lot of these sellers by doing 3 things here. If the VIN number on the ad is different from the VIN number on the car, even if it's off by just 1 letter or digit, be aware of that. Also, if they try to sell you a car with the title in somebody else's name, do not do it. It's against the law. And finally, do a quick search of the seller's phone number in the classifieds. If it comes up multiple times for recent car sales, they are likely curbstoning. So some things you can arm yourself with as you head on out and you're looking for a new car.
Yeah, That's fascinating.
All right, good job.